Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Freed, and welcome to the stream. So, lots of stuff I don't want to talk about today, of course, because I'm just so privileged that things just keep cooking up in politics, and they're noteworthy. And come on, like, let's be serious. If there's an assassination on a president, there's more than likely I'm going to talk about it. Eddie is already here. Yo, man, what is happening, Eddie? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Always great to see you. Yeah, so of course, if you didn't hear, President Trump attempted assassination. Still details like coming out, like looking into it and everything like that. What is known right now? The person who attempted, I don't think he even got a shot off. He voted for Trump in the 2016 election, he's very pro-Ukraine, wanted to fight for Ukraine, donated to find soldiers for Ukraine and everything, and to bring people to the front lines. His son is quoted saying that he hates Trump, but as does everyone. The right says he's a Republican, radicalized by the left, and it's just a bunch of finger pointing back and forth between the right and the left. Yay! So that's where we're at there. Which is always great. So, and then of course you have your full-on conspiracies going crazy, saying that Trump's golf time wasn't public knowledge. So it's a constant inside job thing. Who knows, man? Hey, could be inside the Trump camp for all we know. If you want to talk conspiracy theories, hey, it's one way to make a man a martyr. Jesus, like I'm just so tired of it, and unfortunately I've come to terms with it that there is no reasoning with people that are in these arguments, because the right is going to twist. They don't like to hear the facts. They want to be victimized. That's the way I see it. Y'all want to be a victim, whatever. That's your shit. Do what you gotta do, okay? I'm not playing into it, because you come at you with facts and reasoning and corroborated facts from multiple sources, and y'all still think it's a conspiracy theory, or you twist it with like lies or anything like that. So one of the things to come out amidst the assassination on Donald Trump is that's also trending is you have Elon Musk tweeting after the so someone tweeted, Doge designer said why they want to kill Donald Trump. Why they want to kill Donald Trump? Why do they want to kill Donald Trump? I don't know, man. Maybe because he's a bigot. and an asshole, and he doesn't give a fuck about anyone but him. So you had Elon retweeting that and saying, no one is even trying to assassinate Biden and Kamala. Like so disconnected, man. You actually have people that listen to you, and this sounds like whether he meant it as an attempt or not to incite someone to do something. This is how the problem is that when you're in a position of power like him, and there's a lot of people who listen to you, especially from a very influential side, this is exceptionally risky, gross behavior on his part. But of course he didn't see it that way. I actually saw that. I really like this tweet. So if you don't get the reference, what must sees after saying, what if we called the Cybertruck 2 Hawk Tua? But this is probably like how he saw it, like thinking about when he, because after, so that tweet has since been deleted about like, I wonder why no one's killing the other side. Thoughts? Wonder why no one's killing the other side. Thoughts? Absolute joke. So he deleted the tweet, and then he tweeted these two tweets after at 3 a.m, I guess. Turns out that jokes are way less funny if people don't know the context and the delivery is plain text. Yeah, man. Welcome to the fucking internet. Stupid. Well, one lesson I've learned is that just because I say something to a group and they laugh doesn't mean it's going to be all that hilarious of a post on X. He's so got a visit from the Secret Service. He did, man. He so got a visit. 100%. He deleted that tweet and now he's like walking it back. So that goes into like this Sopranos reference, which if you don't get it, I'll explain it to you. It's when Tony's wife says to him that the people in his gang are not actually, they're only laughing because they're scared of him. They're not actually laughing because they're your friends. So, and then it's like him coming to that realization because he says like a not so good joke that's not that funny at the dinner table. And the reaction is like all the guys losing their mind, like laughing at it. Yeah, incite people to kill the vice president of the United States. This is what we're living in, man. Good one, Elon. Fucking tweet it, dude. Please. Imagine. You know what, Eddie? If I gotta be honest, man. If I could imagine being Elon, I would actually do something worthwhile. It's crazy to me, like the shift that's happened with him. Because I think like 5-6 years ago, he was seen as like, dude, this guy's gonna save the planet. He's gonna cultivate a new Earth on Mars. Or whatever the fuck, right? This guy's a genius. Now it's like, holy shit. Get this guy the fuck out of here. It needs to be studied, his downfall and like the hate against him and everything. Whoa. Intro's still on. Eddie, so everyone can see your glorious comments. I did add a chat bubble to the thing. I don't know if it's working. I can't see them on here, so it must not be working. Oh, I don't even have it on. Now we got it on. There it is. Okay, it's working. Perfect. I need to add that to the other things. Unfortunately, it's not on the browser view, but hey, you know, at least we got hell yeah. Hello. Yeah, it's working. Okay, perfect. Because you were contributing so much to the stream last time and everything like that, and I was talking back with you and all this, so I wanted everyone to be able to see it on YouTube and every stream. So now we got that. Perfect. We're good to go. See, I love it. It's all coming together. So yeah, obviously a lot of fallout from that Elon tweet, of course, and you had a lot of people calling for a visit from the Secret Service. You had people saying this warrants both the visit from the Secret Service and the Senate hearing, given that he's a major defense and national security contractor. People saying he has like $15 million in defense and national security contracts. So explains why he's walking it back. A lot of money involved there. Or maybe it's $15 billion. I don't know. Maybe I should have looked into that. Maybe I should have been more prepared. This is just a rapid fire. I didn't want to dive too down the rabbit hole for this. If you want Hassan Piker will hopefully be live. You just go watch him, man. Perfect. Hell yeah, Eddie. I'll just put it. How easily can I copy this over? I'll just do this right now. I copy? Copy. Paste reference. There you go. Should be here too. Hopefully. I hope it works here. Yeah, so yeah, a lot of people, and then you had even federal like lawyers commenting, saying that this will definitely lead to a visit by the Secret Service and everything like that. I don't understand like how he does. I understand that he just sucks at jokes, which we're gonna get into later. That the right is, dude. I was witness to Fox News and like joking yesterday. I don't even have cable, so I don't watch much. I would agree that CNN probably doesn't have great jokes either. But the right-wing jokes are so bad, and like these are the people who are saying that wokeness and everything is killing comedy. This is actually the guy that says that wokeness is also killing comedy. Perfect. TBH, politics suck, in my opinion. They do, Eddie. Honestly, man, it's a lose battle for everybody. They're like a necessary evil, but yeah. If it wasn't like the most talked about thing in the world right now, I probably wouldn't even cover it. But yeah, this is where we are. This is the world we're living in. So is this the last political thing I have? Well, you just have like, I have a few things from like the Trump thing. First, you have like JD Vance, who like fumbled saying like the whole Haitian story. He fumbled like during a broadcast on CNN yesterday, which everyone was kind of already covering and talking about. So here's that. And a lot of people are calling him to step down post this. Trump probably would love that if he would step down, because he's like the worst pick for a VP ever.
Just once and for all, you again started this in part by saying that, which Donald Trump repeated on the debate stage, that, and he didn't say anything about the policies that you're talking about. He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Dana, the evidence is the first-hand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way, I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. You had one interview with her. You talk about pushing back against me, Dana. You didn't push back against the fact that she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that you're creating a story.
Public policy.
Sir, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you created. So the eating dogs and cats thing is not.
We are creating. Dana, it comes from first.
Yo, like literally when he has like a reset moment there where she's like, you just said creating stories. Like, cue the fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm theme. Oh my God, it's so good.
Hand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it. I didn't create 20,000 illegal migrants coming into Springfield thanks to Kamala Harris's policies. Her policies did that, but yes, we created the actual focus that allowed the American media to talk about this story and the suffering caused by Kamala Harris's policies.
Brutal. So yeah, everyone's saying that he should step down for that. I don't think he should. Viva la France, man. Viva la Trump. Like, just stick it out, dude. Stick it down. Just go with the sinking ship. Let's just keep that going. And then I did see this funny meme where it's the guy from what is this? What is it? Pacific Rim? The doctor. So he's like talking, he's like, where he's doing the calculations to determining how many kaijus are going to come through the void. By election day, we could be seeing one Trump assassination attempt every 4 hours. That'd be pretty crazy. At that point, what would he be doing? Would he he'd probably drop out of the election at that point. So that's it. That's the news. Like, I try to rapid fire it, just get through, because I don't want to talk about. There's other people who want to talk about that stuff, and they love talking about it. Oh, here's another fun one though. It does have to do with Donald Trump. My apologies. It just had to do with the whole Laura Loomer thing. Now that I know this fact, everyone has to know it. In my circle, Laura Loomer is telling our mutual friends that her intimate relationship with President Trump led to the best blowjob of his life. His words, according to Laura. Wait. Oh, his word. Gross. Oh, man. I saw someone retweet that and they said, we need to know less about each other. And I completely agree. Shivers up my spine. Okay, so a little bit of a pivot, still like on the whole right wing thing, but I did talk about their comedy. So against my will, I happened to see, I watched this video of, is it Gary Gutfield? Is that his name? Gutfield? I've never seen this program before, but I was watching I was watching Denim TV stream yesterday, Denim's, whatever you want to call, and she pulled this up and watched it, and I've never like been witness to this, so I was astounded at how bad it is.
You're lucky to have me. Happy Thursday, everyone. So, while filming a music video in Nashville, John Bon Jovi talked a woman out of jumping off a bridge. He did this by promising to quit making music.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Kamala Harris is flying to North Carolina to get the undecided vote, while Joe Biden
I'm going to add in rim shots.
To get the dead vote.
My rim shot's better than your joke, you jackass.
Democrat Jim Clyburn advises Kamala not to do more interviews because she could say something that might be used against her, like reminding them she's currently vice president. New York Congressman Jerry Nadler fell asleep during actual testimony from families who lost loved ones to illegal immigrant crime. But give him a break. He was up all night making lunch. On The View, Joy Behar,
I need to not laugh at some of them, too.
Not sure to endorse Kamala Harris, but he wasn't taking the bait. The bait had already been eaten by Ana Navarro. How dare you laugh at that? In Minnesota, under Governor Tim Walz, 5 male convicts have been sent to women's prisons because they identified as transgender. I guess he identifies with people who claim there's something they're not. His was stolen valor. His was stolen vagina.
I need everyone to understand that there are legitimately people at home in their recliner chairs, just full tilt, just back, just absolutely choking on their TV dinner at this fucking shit. Just loving it. Just lopping it up, dude. There are people who are just like, dude, Greg Gutfield, or whatever, Gutfield is so funny. Like, I can't even like fake it. The rim shot is the only thing making this worth it. It's so fucking bad, man. And like, how the fuck are we just, how are woke people or people just, you know what, fuck this whole woke thing, man. Being woke is just acknowledging people for who they are and accepting people for their differences. That's fucking woke, okay? It's just being politically correct. It doesn't fucking take a lot. It's not like, it's not a lot of brain power you need. You can just live your fucking life. I don't even care. As long as no one's getting hurt, what does it matter? But apparently it's killing comedy, according to people like this. He would probably have a joke about that.
Stolen vagina, Dana. President Joe
At least he
Biden
thinks it's funny.
With a Trump hat.
Trump hat.
Fire station in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. While in nearby Skanksville, residents asked Hunter Biden to put on a condom. That's just terrible.
It's like he has like the comedic valor of like Brick from Anchorman. Where'd you get those? At the toilet? That suit at the toilet store? It's so bad, man.
Greg Gutfield. What a guy. He sits in a chair. Lazy chair guy. That's his joke.
That's how he jokes. That's what he says. It's fucking terrible. All right. So, yeah. I think that's enough. 2 minutes of it. I endured the whole thing. You only have to endure 2 minutes. Ah, hell, I got another one going ready for you.
So before we get to some news stories, let's do this.
Greg's leftovers.
All right.
Dude, that animation
Jokes
sucks.
that we didn't use this week, and as always, it's my first time reading them. So if they suck, we'll dress Joe Mackey up as a goose and send him to Springfield, Ohio.
That's the guy who's writing the jokes. This explains it. I get it.
So today is Friday the 13th. Yeah. And to celebrate, Haitians in Springfield are only eating black cats.
I want to be clear. If it was funny, I would laugh.
Donald Trump told the New York Post that he is done debating and will not do another. We're still waiting on a new offer, however, from his opponent. But a canceled debate could be a tough break for NBC, who had just announced their newly chosen moderators. Meanwhile, pundits are claiming the vice president had an easy night last Tuesday by having both moderators clearly on her side. True, I haven't seen a 3-on-1 that disturbing since I caught the Dixie Chicks ravaging a crate of corn dogs.
That's the longest fucking joke ever.
Given the backlash over their perceived bias, ABC denies giving Kamala Harris the debate questions in advance, claiming they just gave her the answers.
I didn't even know that one was a joke. I thought he was reading a statement.
We're hitting them all. Osama bin Laden's supposed dead son is said to be running Al-Qaeda. Well, oh yeah? We got a dead guy running this country. In your face! In your face, Al-Qaeda!
In your face.
Scientists have created a prosthetic hand that can feel just like your own. Which doesn't make sense. If I had a prosthetic hand, why would I want it to feel like my own? Tom can't laugh at that as a Catholic. A Venezuelan gang has taken over a hotel in El Paso, Texas. On the bright side, the continental breakfast now includes a live cockfight.
This is wild to me. All right. We're done. We're done with it. I cannot believe that that is a produced program on a network where, like, honestly, are there people who are fighting to get advertisement space on the Greg Gutfield show? This is my first experience with this. This is why I'm just like so taken aback. Because like I said, I don't have cable, so I don't watch that. Like I said, CNN would not be funny at all either. So, but the fact that like But I don't think CNN has a show like this, whereas Fox has this. Why do they have this? Who asked for this? It's like they're trying to, it's like their terrible way of trying to be like John Oliver. Oh my God. Or I guess this would be closer to like The Daily Show. But it's so fucking bad. Embarrassingly so. But don't rest assured, the left is killing comedy. How many? This has 545,000 views. What the fuck are we doing? That's brutal. Oh my God. So now, like, total shift. Okay, we're done. We're done with all the like kind of politicky type news. Okay. So if you didn't see today, Mr. Beast, KSI, and Logan Paul announced their new collab called Lunchly, a Lunchables competitor. Dude, if I was Lunchables, I'd be so pissed. Yeah. I think that's a cool $1 billion in their pocket, most likely. There's no way like the traction that both of them that they already have for both brands, where you're combining Prime and Feastables and almost non-edible little pizzas. Yeah, I think they're totally gonna take the market share from Lunchables. So I thought that was interesting because obviously Mr. Beast, like, still a lot of controversy that he's never really answered for and everything like that. And I mean, Logan and KSI I don't really hear much about. Logan obviously has his share as well. But you know what? The machine keeps moving and the money keeps getting made. Because you know what children at the grocery store with their parents don't care about? Any of the shit that these guys have done. They just see, oh, Mr. Beast Feastables Prime, and they love it. And Logan Paul still hasn't paid the crypto investor people? Probably. So, guys should fucking do that with some of this money. Honestly, it'd be cool if like they did like a healthy initiative. They should donate some. I hope they do that. At the very least, I would have less to chirp about. That's for sure. And then this got me actually really excited. I tuned into the highlights of UFC 306, Noche. Great card for the most part, although Dana White didn't like this. I didn't watch the Valentina fight, but he apparently did not like that one. But super excited to see John Jones will face Stipe Miocic for the UFC heavyweight title at UFC 309 on November 16th at Madison Square Gardens. Should I say that like super hype? I think I should. No. That's like a megaphone. Nope. Sorry, I'm trying to find.
Yes, here we go.
Is now Monster. I'm trying to go through all my sound effects.
This is the closest thing that we got. See, I don't even like this one. It's bad. Small robot.
The monster.
What's this one? Should I say it? Yeah, I'll say it like this. It'll be super rapid. John Jones will face Stipe. Gosh, I might have brain rot. John Jones will face Stipe Miocic for the UFC heavyweight title at UFC 309 on November 16th at Madison Square Garden.
I should have my stream keys taken away for that one. I
Need to make like a better, like more hype. John Jones will face Stipe Miocic at UFC heavyweight title. All right, I've hyped this
up enough. I need to stop talking. Anyway, just as like an old UFC fan, like when I say old, I mean I probably got into it like around 2016. I'm just like super excited. Like I haven't been locked into the to UFC since I probably haven't watched since like 2023, 2022. Maybe a bit of 2022. There was still like a few fights because like Adesanya was still like kind of like hype and like bringing a lot, and there was still like a lot of hype there in the fights. But I haven't personally seen a card. I've just been less invested. So the more invested you are, obviously the cards are more hype, but I just haven't been that invested. So seeing this is actually amazing. I really hope it goes through. That's the one thing you always worry about with like these giant title fights like that, where you get John Jones and Stipe both coming back. So I'm very excited. And yeah, I bet John Jones will win. Very, very exciting news. So we can get into the meat and veg of what I wanted to talk about today. I don't know if this is going to be a super duper long stream. I have a showing of my place anyway that I need to clean for and everything like that. So I had to be done by 4 anyway. So, but yeah, so I was at work this weekend. That was what I was doing. And obviously this thought has been crossing my mind a lot more lately about work from home. Something we all had, something most of us, not all, had the privilege of from the pandemic over the past 2-3 years into 2023. It's kind of been walked back now. A lot of companies going the other way. And here I sit doing my job this weekend and I'm thinking, this could so easily be done from home. And I'm wondering, where did we all go wrong? And I see tweets like that all the time saying, how did we fumble remote work? What happened, and why? And I'll be honest with you. This is my own personal take. I think that we were fighting an uphill battle. I don't think we were ever going to win the battle of work from home. Now, in some ways we kind of have, and in some ways we haven't. Some companies have rolled it all the way back to where it's full-time in office. Some companies were willing to do the hybrid model and kind of where the employee-employer both win, which is great to see. And I think it's innovating. That's why I get frustrated when it comes to the whole work from home thing and the rolling it back is I see, like, obviously I was one of the first people who came back to work after the pandemic, and I was in, this is early 2020, like May 2020, I came in and we were in office to start because the company I was working for at the time did not have a remote work setup. They didn't have a workaround and how to do it. So we just seeing all the effort and work and everything that went in to getting that to a place where we were able to do super efficient work from home, and obviously having, especially when you're doing shift work, to have that as a means to kind of balance out your life, because sometimes you're working late one day, next day you're working early, and it just allowed for you to have a life between the job. And it added a little bit of sustainability to it, which was great. So I see all the innovation and like the life change that comes from it. And I can't help but just get upset because when I see innovation, I see something that just makes sense, for it to just be dismantled is exceptionally infuriating to me. Because that's what the whole point is, right? We're supposed to advance as a civilization. Well, in my mind, allowing people to work and do a job from wherever they please is exactly that. It is pushing society forward. Some others would disagree, which is one of the studies that I actually found. It was because I didn't want to just do all bad. So the evolution of working from home, it was a research that was done by the Instituto Tecnologico. I can't say that. It's the Mexican Institute of Technology, Mexico's Institute of Technology, Stanford University, University of Chicago Booth School of Business, and Hoover Institution. So the evolution of working from home, the summary: working from home rose fivefold from 2019 to 2023. With 40% of U.S. employees now working remotely at least one day a week. The productivity of remote work depends critically on the mode. Fully remote work is associated with about 10% lower productivity than fully in-person work. So 10%, that's what they're saying. That's what their findings are. Challenges with communicating remotely, barriers to mentoring, building culture, and issues with self-motivation appear to be factors. But fully remote work can generate even larger cost reductions from space savings and global hiring, making it a popular option for firms. Hybrid working appears to have no impact on productivity, but is also popular with firms because it improves employee recruitment and retention. Looking ahead, we predict working from home will continue to grow because of the expansion in research and development into new technologies to improve remote working. Hence, the pandemic generated both one-off jump and a longer run growth acceleration in working from home. So, not all negative, but when you say a 10% drop off to an employer, that's drastic to them. And I think there's also this huge push to see people in building and just feel the need. My personal take on the entire subject is it had to do with a mix of middle management jobs becoming obsolete and real estate. Now, those are just two factors. There's many mitigating factors in this whole thing, but we'll focus on those. That's my point for those two. That's how I see it. So, work from home. Well, if a lot of employees aren't coming in, middle management, so you would talk to your direct manager, but the manager above them, they're not like who are managing entire departments. What are they really doing? Not a whole lot. So the company, would they fire them? No, because they need the pecking order and they still want all the fucking bootlickers that come with middle management. And then in turn, if they don't want to hire those middle management, the managers who you're directly reporting to, they'll try to like aim to gas them and get rid of them. But they don't want to do that either, because then the managers above them have to take over the responsibilities of them. So management will just take themselves out of the equation and bring employees back in to justify all of their jobs. You see what I'm saying? And then real estate. One of the things that obviously all companies, most companies, especially tech companies, you need to house servers. You need like tons of, even if remote work, what are people like remoting into? What are they doing? Right. I personally remoted into computers that were on a physical site. Some people just were given laptops and then they just had to email and they were given web access to things, which is also viable. But companies do still need small like building space to house certain things. I get that. But a lot of them have investments in office spaces that are millions and millions of dollars. So the question you have to ask yourself is, why would I tank my own current investments by rendering them obsolete by not bringing employees back? That's why that's why a lot of major corporations are going to walk it back, because they don't want to lose money in investments they've already made. Now, I know a lot of people could say, oh, well, you could sell them, but they still probably look at it from like a cost factor. Oh, well, we need to still store and like do all these things. And sure, they get downgraded, but they don't want to tank the investment that they hold in the property. Because if leaders in industry start doing it, then it would just become the norm, and then those properties become less valuable. That's how I see it. Personally, like I said, multiple factors. Those are just my two main. So it's getting drastic out there, folks. PwC, Price Waterhouse, tells employees it will use location data to police back to office rule. This is from September 6th. So PricewaterhouseCoopers will start tracking where its employees in the United Kingdom work in a bid to dial back its current work from home culture. Staff at the UK arm of PwC, one of the world's big four accounting firms, were this week informed by management that the new policy would take effect on January 1st. A memo sent to the company's 26,000 UK employees on Thursday. Shared with CNN, said the measures would was being taken to formalize the company's approach to working together in person. Anyone that had to walk back from work from home knows how that feels. It's like, dude, like for me, what they said in our mission statement is that collaborations and ideas are flowing in work. It's like, no, the only idea that's flowing is we're all trying to think about how we can end our lives as fast as possible. We're all trying to say, hey, what if we had a gun and played Russian roulette while we're here? It's not quite that bad, but it was pretty, it's devastating, and it's such a farce, to say the least, that we're all lining up to go see and have small talk with our fucking coworkers. So don't get me wrong, I work with a lot of my friends. None of us were itching to go back in and work together. We saw each other when we needed to. And as for collaborating on ideas with teams, what the fuck was Zoom for? Give me a call. Neither of us has to move. Employees were told they must spend at least 3 days a week, not terrible, or 60% of their time in the office or with clients. Previous guidelines required them to be in for between 2 and 3 days each week, but the memo suggests that was not universally adhered to. It said, our business thrives on strong relationships, and those are almost always more easily built and sustained face to face. By being physically together, we can offer our clients a differentiated experience and create the positive learning and coaching environment that is key to our success. How you been doing it for fucking since 2020, and now you're like, that didn't work for us. It's all about control, man. That's all it is. They want to just be in control. They want you under their thumb. They don't want you to be happy. They're like, I'm paying you. You have to do this the way I want it. Even though the work's getting done, this is how it is. And some people would look at that and they would say, yeah, they're paying you. You go in. Yeah, okay, jackass. I fucking get that. But more to the point is that we're trying to find a work-life balance here. It's constantly talked about work-life balance. And they found, and this was legitimately a solution. I'm not saying don't go in at all. I think that there is definitely something when it comes to reporting to the office. I know a few people who have it really good where it's come in once, twice a month, or if there's any prominent meetings or anything like that. Again, client work. If you have to meet with a client, that's just how it is. You should be meeting with those clients face to face unless they say otherwise. That's just how it goes. But for doing data input or anything or simple emailing and all that, and even the daily meetings, come on. You don't need to be in person for that shit. Nothing different or innovating is happening from that. According to PwC, the move is intended to adjust the firm's hybrid working approach and put more emphasis on in-person working. We all benefit from positive impact of a hybrid approach, but the previous guidance of at least 2 to 3 days a week was open to interpretation. This update aims to provide clarity around where and how we expect everyone to work, the memo said. While many staff are already spending more time in person with your clients and teams, for others, time may be needed to settle into new working patterns, the company told employees. With that in mind, we will start sharing your individual working location data with you on a monthly basis from January, as we do with other data such as chargeable hours. This will help ensure that the new policy is being fairly and consistently applied across our business, it added. In a press release published online, Laura Hinton, managing partner at PwC UK, said face-to-face working is hugely important to people, business like ours, blah, blah, blah. All right. Policing is a little hardcore, but it's nothing new. This is just another, like I said, it's just another way of control. And again, you are going to have people like me who don't see the reasoning in bringing people back in as long as the work and the clients are happy, as long as the work's getting done and the clients are happy. You question the whole thing and why it's needed, because you're taking time out of your day to get, you got to get ready. You got to drive, you got to do a commute. especially here in Toronto, people's commutes are really long. Like we're talking like 1 to 2 hours of a commute. And like that's 2 to 4 hours a day you're getting back for you, which matters in like this whole thing. Because, and I understand like it's not the consideration of the employer. They don't care. Like I said before, people are going to be like, oh, they're paying you. Okay, sure. But they're paying me for 8 hours, not paying me for the 15 or the 12 to 15 that it takes for me to commute and do all this other shit. That was what work from home provided, was that you had your time and you had the employer time and you could work around that, which was great. I got a little video for us. The end of remote work, potentially.
This is how corporate America feels about remote work in 2023.
The laptop class is living in La La Land. It's messed up to assume that they have to go to work, but you don't. It's not just a productivity thing. I think it's morally wrong.
Listen, it doesn't work for young kids. It doesn't work for spontaneity. It doesn't really work for management.
And this is how the corporate world felt about remote work in 2020, during the height of COVID-19.
The biggest advantages, I think, are access to large pools of talent who don't live around the big cities and aren't willing to move there.
Since we've all been forced into being remote now for 9 months, I think we've realized that if you have somebody in a particular location who's willing to work the hours to be able to collaborate, you can do it very effectively. So it's changed how we thought about hiring.
Let's pause here. Notice something? In fewer than 3 years, corporate leaders have reversed their approach to remote work, and it seems like this tactic has been working. The latest data from the Census Bureau found that fewer than 26% of U.S. households still have someone working from home. That's down from 37% in early 2021.
So the reason we're having this entire conversation about remote work dying is, first of all, because we kept thinking that we're going to bounce back to quote unquote normal. When the pandemic started and we had people working from home, the idea was this is very temporary and we were all going to come back.
So really what's changed the discussion about remote work is the slowdown in the labor market. There are a lot of employers out there who had suspicions about remote work from the start. And you can see that kind of by the timing of when people actually went to being remote during the start of the pandemic. So the concerns that employers had about remote work were present all during the Great Reshuffle, but they didn't really have much of a choice. But with the emergency orders expiring for the pandemic this year, now they can actually start to bring people back and address some of those concerns that they might have about productivity.
Remote work was thrust upon us basically by the pandemic. Before the pandemic, remote work was pretty rare, so about 5% of days.
I just want to say this really quick. This is what I'm saying. Okay. Things like this, like a global fucking event, like a pandemic, it's times like this, you know, and maybe this is a really is it philosophical? I don't know. Whatever. I'm looking at it like this, okay? These things happen, like a catastrophe or this global event that happens, okay? This is our fucking Pangea, all right? The earth fucking shook up a little bit. What happens when there's a global thing, a global catastrophe or whatever? We have to adjust. We have to find a solution, find a way forward. This was our fucking Pangea, man. We found a way forward. We found a way through it. And like, you know, once COVID's gone, it's like, nah, get the fuck back in the office now. It's like, okay, you're all just dumb. You're just dumb. We built on it. We innovated the world, and you guys can't accept it.
We were forced to work from home. You know, all managers and professionals were basically fully remote for much of 2020. And then it turned out it's worked really well.
Such as no commute, working in your sweatpants, doing your laundry between Zoom calls, but also just the savings in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of your commute, in terms of being able to spend more time with your children or pick them up from school.
People quickly found ways to be productive, to continue communications together, and to keep collaborating together in whatever tools they could invest in to support that work and that teamwork.
As the world slowly started to open up, corporate America began to change its tune on remote work, so much so that some firms now even threaten to fire their employees if they don't show up at work.
Zoom, the company this is, now throwing in the towel on fully remote work.
Even Zoom, the video conferencing company that helped make the remote work boom happen in the first place, is also taking a hard line on return to office.
It's an abrupt shift from last year when it suggested a majority of its employees would work a hybrid schedule with just 2% working in person full time.
So some of the pushback remote work is driven by concerns about productivity. There have been some experimental studies that show that there's some productivity impact potentially from remote work. But those studies are also experiments, right? It's unclear how they apply to the broader labor force.
The United States does have a productivity problem. Before the second quarter of this year, the country had experienced 5 consecutive quarters of year-over-year declines in worker productivity. In fact, a major study that Professor Nicholas Bloom co-authored found that fully remote work led to productivity declines of about 10 to 20% when compared to fully in-person work.
Now, the other important thing in the study is we pointed out, look, what firms care about ultimately is profitability. And it turns out that if you have an employee that's remote, you also save a lot of costs. So you're saving about 10% less overhead because you don't have an office. And then you can have these folks maybe nationally or internationally, maybe save another 20, 30, 40%. Remote workers, they may be 5, 10% less productive, but they are so much cheaper that it's profitable for firms to have many teams, many employees remote.
If you're coming with the stat to protect yourself, to put the positive narrative for people to return to work, I'd like to think, what were the productivity like when people were all working from home, when you're not allowed to have any face-to-face worker at all, right? So now you're spinning it in your favor. So I'd like to challenge that.
If the employee can perform their duties and handle their responsibilities, they should be encouraged to work from wherever makes them feel as excited about life as possible. I camped in Key West for 3 weeks. I was in North Dakota in February. I've been up and down the coast of California. I've been to our national parks. For me, that's where I feel best working, and that's where I've gotten my best work done.
See, and I feel like companies don't like, this guy is a perfect example because they don't like this kind of autonomy where he's out living his best life, albeit getting his work done and everything. But for some reason, there is some corporate mindset that he needs to be grunting at a fucking desk in order to be successful at his job. I guarantee that there are people that look at it that way 100%. That because he is not at a desk, seated, doing the work, that there is a hindrance to his work. Well, I call bullshit.
I believe we can work from anywhere.
My name is Susan Parazoli. I used to work for JP Morgan and Chase. It was all remote. But once they changed their policy to come to office, that was in Plano, Texas, but I live in California. So I decided not to move out there because of my kids. I have 2 school-going kids. I have to manage work-life balance as well. That was the reason why I quit my job. JP Morgan had given me 45 days of time frame to find another job. And I applied for some other companies and found a remote job with Leidos. So I have been working remotely with Leidos as a senior system analyst.
Parajali is not alone in his choice to quit rather than return to an office setting. Finding a fully remote job, though, is getting more challenging. New research from Indeed found that job postings are declining faster in metropolitan areas where many jobs can be done remotely. A similar trend is playing out on LinkedIn as well.
So on LinkedIn last year, we saw that about 1 in 7 jobs were remote, and now that's down to about 1 in 11. But over this time, we've also seen an inversion. Now we see about 1 in 7 jobs being hybrid, coming up from 1 in 11 last year. So we're seeing more folks coming back into the office, but they are not coming back into the office 5 days a week.
Many employers are strong-arming their team members and that they would love remote work to die faster. As a result, I do see that remote work is, quote unquote, slowly dying and becoming more competitive to get.
The pandemic-induced shift to remote work has raised concerns about the future of commercial real estate, especially office spaces. The latest report from McKinsey Global Institute
Exactly what I
suggests
said.
that remote work threatens to erase $800 billion from the value of office real estate in 9 major cities around the world. Other experts say the empty offices created by remote work in various...
This is what I'm saying. Like, it's diminishing a lot of money in real estate.
With the office demand, right? And we've seen with the advent of remote work and hybrid work a dramatic reduction in office demand over these past 3 years that has led to rising vacancy rates and in fact to all-time high vacancy rates in the office market right now. And that does put downward pressure on the valuations of these offices. You mentioned that they're down, probably 20-30% already. They're likely to fall by more. And that causes downward pressure on property tax revenues because for a lot of cities, office tax revenues is a big chunk of their tax revenues, often as much as 50%. Some of that is coming from office, maybe 20%. So maybe 10% of overall tax revenues for cities comes from office. If those offices lose about half of their value, tax revenues fall, and that creates a huge hole in the budget.
So like everything, there are going to be winners and losers as we transition to a world where we have remote work as a permanent feature. One of the potential losers is commercial real estate, in part because offices aren't needed as much or they're not needed at all. So commercial real estate may be a loser for remote work. We may also be concerned about businesses that support workers who come to the office. So think about your food trucks, your laundry services, all of these businesses that are centered around folks coming into the office 5 days a week. They may face difficulties when that's not happening as much.
Commercial real estate is problematic in a number of big cities, but there are a lot of people now who are saying that we need to bring people back to the office because our commercial buildings are empty, which is a little bit like saying we need to have people use the horse and buggy because cars are going to wipe out that industry. We have to understand that the world has changed. Our ways of working have changed, and we can't go back to an old, outdated way simply because we are being motivated by commercial real estate.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was our fucking Pangea.
Already seen in some cities that it's being converted, it's being used for other purposes, some of it's being converted into residential housing, and we're going to have to get much more creative about what to do with those empty buildings.
If you're pushing your employees to come back to the office, you got to make sure that they're coming back to the office for something other than meetings.
I don't think we ever will bounce back to those pre-pandemic days. What I do think we will see, and we are already seeing, is that there is a benefit to also being in person. And that's why we're seeing companies first saying come back 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, maybe 4 days a week even. But I do think that the old school 5 days a week, 40 hours on the premises, I do think that's dead. I don't think it's coming back.
I'm a family person, and most importantly, I can save multiple hours by working from home by saving commute hours, and which I can give to my family. I can give those hours for myself, which has been benefiting a lot, and I always prefer to do remotely.
Work from home is here to stay. If you're concerned about it, the best thing to do is figure out how to make it work, because it's definitely not going away.
Hell yeah. Viva la... This is twice I've done this. Viva la resistance. God, I'm such an idiot. Well, it's good to hear like it's not going away from like experts and like, and this is what I mean. The world changed. They said it in the video. It was our Pangea. Okay, we haven't had in my lifetime, in 32 years, we didn't have a global crisis like that, where everyone across the globe, the first pandemic in even my mom's lifetime. Yeah, and she's 71 tomorrow. So, like, obviously she experienced like other things like, well, I guess polio. I don't know. She's old. Okay, we're discounting her. But we're talking in like 40, 50 years. No one expected that to happen. And what did we do? We used the technology over time, and we advanced technologies in order to adapt and fix and make a solution for a global problem. And it was innovating. It helped so many people. And now we're just going the opposite direction. Here's my last closing thoughts on remote work. obviously, I hope the pendulum swings back to where it was. I don't think we'll ever get back to where it's completely remote. You might see that. It could, who knows? It could be contract work where it's just strictly remote because it's companies that have developed and they just want people to use their own technology and their own setups, and they can work wherever they want as long as they have a laptop or a computer to access what needs to be done. But right now, with the economy and inflation and everything like that, reeling still from the pandemic, obviously we're now seeing it finally start to go down. People are finally saying we've won the battle against inflation. The job market obviously has not been good, especially here in Canada. In the States, it's been pretty good. But just, and this is me speaking from the outside in, but I honestly do think right now it is an employer's job market where employers are able to, because the economy is so down, a lot of companies aren't advertising, they aren't doing like a lot of things, they aren't hiring. In fact, you've seen like a lot of companies, especially in the tech sector, making cuts. I think that right now is an employer job market. When it swings the other way and it is an employee job market, when the economy is back up and inflation has gone back down and companies are hiring left and right and business is more booming, I think you are going to see an uptick in hybrid and remote work. Because I think that when you see that power shift come in and companies are desperate for good quality talent, I think you're going to see a lot of people who are only willing to work remote, and a lot of companies are going to lose employees because there's remote opportunities coming up more and more. So they're going to lose talent when it becomes a different kind of job market. That's how I feel. And that's what I hope happens, because that's, to be completely and fair and honest, that's what deservedly so needs to happen, so that these companies can wake the fuck up and realize that they're going to lose really dedicated, highly skilled people because they just wanted to watch these people, shuffle their ass into the office building, into a cubicle. It's BS, I tell you. So yeah, as I was saying, like, just to kind of back it up a little bit, this Forbes article says one reason why remote jobs are disappearing is because of the numerous tech layoffs that have affected states like California and larger slowdown in tech hiring. A large chunk of tech positions are remote. 85% of post-pandemic tech roles were either fully remote or hybrid, while 48% were completely remote, according to data from Morning Consult. One of California's most impacted industries is the tech sector, which has seen around 60,000 job cuts from companies like Tesla, Google, TikTok, and Microsoft since the beginning of last year. One reason why remote jobs are disappearing is because of the numerous tech layoffs, and that affected states like California. Larger slowdown in tech is saying the same thing in this thing. A large chunk of the tech positions are, I don't know why this like glitched. This person like copy and pasted their own article into it. So yeah, obviously like a lot of tech layoffs, and you are going to see more remote work in the tech sector. That's currently where they are still now. I know, for example, Shopify was here in Toronto. They went fully remote because it's just not necessary, especially if everything can be done online. So it's good to see. I'm glad it's not like completely dying, although my two workplaces that I currently work for, one having gone full remote over the pandemic, and now completely, there's no flexibility. There is no remote work. It is strictly done in office now. And as a video editor, easiest job to do remote, but there's a bureaucracy that you kind of have to fight with when it comes to this whole thing. And that's what it is. And don't get me wrong, and I'm just going to speak for some people that I completely understand who they choose to go in. And I get that. For some people, I talk about my work-life balance and how it benefited my life. Some people with children, and it benefited them to go in because it just gave them separation from their families and everything like that, which matter to them, especially people with like older kids and everything. You know what I mean? when your child's young, obviously, like, you want to be there and be home, and like it helps to be available. But yeah, I know a lot of people who openly just wanted to keep working and building because it gives them that separation. And it's like a healthy separation from their family throughout the day. And you're not dealing with, kids running around, banging, all that stuff. It's just, I can just focus on my work. So I totally like understand that. The only other thing that I was, thinking is companies should just go with a model, do what works for you. And that's what I talk about when I talk about autonomy. Treat people like they're adults. If you treat your workers like adults, like they can make good, viable decisions, that motivates them to do better work for you, because work from home and like all of this is a privilege, and it should be earned through having an option and to prove yourself and to prove that you can handle doing that task. That's my personal opinion. I also think you could see people, and I guarantee people have done this as well. You're going to see people taking jobs that are remote for less money, which not only is it going to, which they talked about in that video about saving that 10% cost of not having an office building. But if people are accepting less money to work remote, to have that ability, because just think, you're saving money on car insurance, gas, or whatever, however you're commuting and other things, food when you're working, if you're eating lunch out, so many things. So it is viable to be making less money as well when you're working remote. So I really hope it doesn't die. I think it was our chance at innovation. And I'm really hoping it swings the other way, ladies and gentlemen. For all of our sakes, we deserve this. And if you're working for a company that allows you to work remote, kudos to you. I hope it doesn't change, because the opposite way is no bueno. Yeah. There was an article that stated the most optimistic among us, some may choose the term naive, envisioned a post-pandemic future where we were working from anywhere was a given, offering new levels of flexibility for the old 9 to 5. We made it work for 2 years. Why wouldn't that option continue? Why indeed? Anyway, guys, this has been a short one for me. Eddie, if you're still here, thank you so much for tuning in. I got to go do some stuff today, unfortunately. But I was going to try to be live again tomorrow. Same time, probably around noon, depending. I got to check on the schedule for any viewings and everything like that. I will for sure be live on Wednesday, 9 a.m. It's going down. I got to make the 9 a.m. deadline. Today, again, I was behind. I worked yesterday, so I didn't prep, and then I had to I had to get my ducks in a row, as it was. But super exciting. I've been having a lot of fun doing these streams. I hope anyone that's tuned in is really enjoying it. I appreciate anyone and everyone that views, even the views after the fact, the VODs and everything like that. So, that'll do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hit you up tomorrow. Peace.